So firstly, looking back to last week's match, what do you feel either was lacking or went wrong for you?
Well, we started pretty well. I would say the first 5 minutes, both teams started brightly, and then the next 15 minutes I thought we controlled, used the ball really well, and we're on the front foot, scored the goal, and then I thought we'd go on from strength to strength there, but we obviously contributed massively to our downfall last week by individual errors and just lapses. But the good lads, you dust yourself down, go again, and hopefully we can learn from the experience, and maybe the fact that we didn't play for a couple of weeks, I don't know. I'm clutching at straws really for excuses, but we've got to be better, haven't we? And the only thing is, it wasn't to do with the shape or organisation; they were just lapses.
Obviously, everybody was disappointed after a defeat like that. So, how have the players reacted in training this week?
Oh well, really well. You could see even evidence on our Twitter page of a lot of exciting football being played and a lot of energy, and that's us. Win, lose or draw, we try and react in the same positive vein. Make sure the players see plenty of the ball, and they've got licence now. I think with 16 games left to really take the handbrake off and go and express themselves, really enjoy it, get on the ball as much as possible, and that's the way we want to move forward.
You say learn from it. What sort of things do you learn from games like that?
Just more in terms of the reactions. There were a few head in hands, and it was 2-1 down with about 24 minutes played. You can't get to that state of mind or be too emotional at that point. It's disappointing, but you've got to react and be relentless with it. I think it's more a case of learning from that, so that the games don't drift away. But the lads deserve a lot of credit for being in this position in our first season in the National League, and it's just fine tuning now, and hopefully we can go on a really good run.
So on to Dover, who you beat a couple of weeks back in the FA Trophy. Can you take anything from that game into this one?
Only that it's a really long journey. We prepared well last time, so we will prepare a similar way. And the pitch is a big pitch, which should suit us. Big and flat. It's a nice setup, to be honest, to go and play good football.
When you play a team again so soon, how do you approach it as far as your game plan's concerned? Do you have to tweak it? Do you think, well, that worked last time, we'll do the same again? How do you play, obviously, without giving too much away?
Well, no, I mean, our way is we consider everything that the opposition have got, make players aware of their strengths and weaknesses, and but we don't tend to chop and change too much when we think that we're onto a good thing, and we do, and invariably this game is a habit of just clipping your wings, when you think actually we're onto a good thing here, but then I think you've got to hold your nerve. And we're still playing the same passing style because we think that's one of our strengths. There's still, like I say, fine tuning. Cut out the laps, but don't concentrate too much on that, because we want people not to be edgy. We want people to get on the ball and excite. And then in the final third, I think we have to be really even more positive and drive at people, and don't just sling it in the box, from too deep. It's not us. We don't train that way, and just make sure we test their resolve and any opponent's resolve if we can keep the ball 5, 10, 15 passes, and because things open up and we don't have to force it too much.
So still very much a case of you do what you're good at, and let them worry about it, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that's our way, and hopefully the lads can sense that belief in them from ourselves. Paul and I, and we'll make every effort to keep drip feeding that the way we play, and so it's not a case of ripping it up at all, because then you stifle players.
So last week you finally got your man, Jack Senior, came into the club, that left back that you've been looking for. You've had a week to work with him now as well. Things starting to click, fitting in well? Oh
yeah, I mean, even from the first day you could see he's got good quality, and he's our kind of mindset that we want. He's got a point to prove, because he's not played as many games as he probably would have liked at Luton. But we like hungry lads with a point to prove, and he's really open faced, wants to learn, wants to get on with his career really, and hopefully we're going to give him a good platform and suit his style of play.
As far as the rest of your team goes, are you planning on any tweaks, any changes after last week, or are you keeping the faith with them?
Well, we've got to take stock. A couple have been nursing a few aches and pains, slight strains here and there. So I'm going to keep the cards close to my chest, even if what style of play we're going to turn out with. There's a little bit to consider for the squad this weekend.
Anything out of the ordinary apart from the aches and pains? I mean, they happen, don't they?
No, nothing too severe, which is good. And they have trained well, so that's the thing that we have to consider when selecting the 11. So I've not quite nailed it down in my head, the 11, because people have turned up and really given everything in training this week.